A kissed-out Fred floatboat character. The name of a specific enchanted river barge crewed by a single, perpetually cheerful man named Fred. The barge or floatboat is kissed out, meaning it has been kissed by a fae creature, and now it never needs a current, floating wherever Fred feels happiest. It drifts through the world's waterways, appearing at festivals and quiet backwaters, offering rides to weary travelers. To ride on the floatboat is to feel a moment of simple, uncomplicated contentment. Amelia character. A ghost who haunts not a place, but a specific melody. She was a musician who died before she could finish her masterpiece. Now, her spectral, translucent form appears only when someone hums or plays the 7 specific, unresolved notes that make up the fragment of her song. She will float near the musician, her expression one of intense, desperate longing, trying to guide their hands or voice to the notes that will finally complete the piece and allow her to rest. An Elan character. The Elan is a rare and fleeting elemental of pure life force and inspiration. It has no fixed form, appearing as a momentary, breathtaking shimmer in the air, a sudden cascade of golden light, or an impossible, intricate pattern of frost on a window pane. It cannot be summoned or captured. Its appearance is entirely random, and to witness it is to be struck by a sudden, overwhelming bolt of creative genius, profound clarity, or unshakable motivation. Artists, poets, and thinkers spend their lives hoping to be blessed by a chance encounter with an Elan, bloody and blunt character. The nickname for a legendary battlefield surgeon, a woman known for her grim, pragmatic, and miraculously effective techniques. In a world of healing magic, she relied on steel, gut, and an unflinching understanding of anatomy. Her methods were considered barbaric, bloody and blunt, by magical purists, but she saved thousands of lives that magic could not. She is the patron saint of those who solve impossible problems with practical, albeit brutal, efficiency. But I'm not situation legend. A specific and frustrating curse laid upon a person, often by a fae trickster. The afflicted person appears to the rest of the world to be someone else entirely, a famous general, a wealthy merchant, a wanted criminal, and all evidence supports this illusion. The victim, however, remains fully themselves on the inside, forced to live in a world that constantly and confidently misidentifies them. Their every denial, "but I'm not him," is taken as a lie, a jest, or a sign of madness. It is a curse of profound psychological isolation, where one's true identity is known only to themselves. Eggs and their shells. Situation legend, a philosophical principle, and a form of magical contract law. The principle states that every creation, the egg, is intrinsically and forever tied to the cost or consequence of its creation, the shell. A magical sword, forged with a dragon's fire, will always carry a sliver of that dragon's rage. A life saved by a forbidden ritual will always be shadowed by the entity that was appeased. The law is unbreakable, a constant reminder that nothing is born without a cost, and that one cannot have the contents without also inheriting the container. Eyes are mosaics. Place a cursed city viewed from afar. From a distance, the city appears to be a breathtakingly beautiful metropolis, its towers and domes shimmering as if made from jewels. However, as a traveler gets closer, they realize the city is a ruin. The beauty is a magical glamour, and the shimmering effect comes from the fact that every surface is covered in the eyes of the city's former inhabitants, now enchanted into a mosaic that perpetually watches all approaches. The eyes are alive, and they follow all who draw near, making it a place of horrifying, inescapable scrutiny. Feet like fins situations legend. A fairy tale or evolutionary legend about a race of coastal people who, generations ago, made a pact with the ocean. In exchange for the ocean's bounty and protection, their feet slowly and painlessly transformed, becoming long, webbed, and fin-like, making them awkward on land, but impossibly graceful and swift in the water. The story is told to children as a lesson in adaptation and sacrifice, a reminder that to truly belong to a place, one must be willing to be changed by it. Flock of soul character. This is not a single entity, but a collective being formed from the souls of birds that died in a magical forest fire. It appears as a great, swirling cloud of ash and embers that takes the shape of a massive, shimmering bird. It has no single mind, but is driven by the fractured collective instincts of the flock. It is a creature of sorrow and eerie beauty, and its cry sounds like the crackle of fire and 1,000 tiny chirping whispers. It endlessly circles the sky above its former home, a living, breathing memorial to what was lost. Golden vein character. The name given to a specific lineage of miners or dowsers who are born with the ability to see the life force of the earth as literal veins of shimmering gold light running through rock and soil. They cannot see actual gold, but rather the pathways of deep telluric energy. A person with the golden vein can find the purest water, the most fertile soil, or the most stable ground for a foundation by following these glowing, subterranean rivers of light. They are considered invaluable guides and are revered as people who can read the planet's own circulatory system. Hazel character. A dryad-like being whose skin is the color and texture of a hazelnut shell and whose eyes are a deep, earthy brown. She is a guardian of nascent growing things, particularly groves of young trees and hidden, mossy places. Hazel is profoundly shy and communicates not with words, but through the scent of crushed nuts and damp earth that she emits. She possesses the power of quiet growth. In her presence, plants flourish, and even stones seem to settle into a more harmonious configuration. To be near her is to feel the slow, patient, and powerful pulse of the earth itself. Hearsay, please, situation/legend. A magical plague that infects language itself. It does not cause physical illness, but instead removes all certainty from spoken words. Any statement of facts spoken by an infected person is automatically perceived by the listener as unsubstantiated rumor. The sun is shining is heard as, I heard the sun might be shining. I love you is heard as, they say I might love you. The plague, spread by gossip, threatens to unravel society by eroding the very concept of truth, leaving only hearsay, please. Itchy Globo Glow Situation, Legend. The apocryphal title, a subterranean cavern system located deep beneath a perpetually frozen sea. The only light source comes from immense, pulsating bioluminescent orbs, globos, that hang from the ceiling like immense, ripe, glowing fruit. These orbs emit a soft light that causes a strange, prickling, or itchy sensation on the skin and fills the mind with disjointed, dreamlike images. It is said the cavern is the nursery of young stars, where cosmic infants are cradled in glowing silence before they are ready to ignite in the void above. Little Spacey Place. A small, circular glade in an ancient forest that is magically out of sync with its surroundings. The glade is a little spacey, a pocket of deep space tethered to the world. The grass is a soft, dark nebula. The trees are tall, crystalline structures that chime with stellar winds. And looking up reveals not a sky, but a stunning close-up view of distant galaxies. Gravity is light, and the air is still and cold. It is a place of silent, cosmic wonder, hidden within the mundane world. Memory Gong's Place. A series of immense, naturally formed stone discs that hang from the ceiling of a vast, subterranean cavern. These are the memory gongs. When struck, they do not produce a sound that one hears with their ears, but rather a resonant, psychic tone that causes everyone in the cavern to vividly re-experience a single, specific memory. Each gong is attuned to a different universal concept. One gong, when struck, might make everyone relive their first taste of salt water. Another might evoke the feeling of a forgotten childhood fear. They are used in solemn rituals of community and shared experience. Oil of Angels Situation, Legend. A rare, sacred substance that is said to seep from the tombs of the truly saintly. It is not an oil, but a thick, silvery, luminescent liquid that smells of ozone and forgotten stars. A single drop of the oil of angels is a potent catalyst for truth. When applied to a document, it reveals any hidden text or magical glamours. When touched to a person's tongue, it forces them to speak only the absolute objective truth for 1 full hour. It is sought by inquisitors, kings, and desperate lovers alike. Ooze Out and Away, One House Situation, Legend. This describes the process of soul erosion. It is a rare magical disease where a person's spirit or essence slowly and painlessly oozes out and away from their body. Their memories, personality, and ambitions leak away over months, leaving behind a perfectly healthy but completely empty physical shell. The one how refers to the mystery of the process, as no one knows how it begins or how the escaped soul stuff dissipates. It is considered the quietest and most tragic end a person can meet. Pale Clouded White Place. This describes the highest, most remote plateau of a mountain range that is permanently above the cloud line. The ground is composed of a fine white chalk-like dust. The sky is a deep, dark, star-filled violet, and the world below is completely obscured by a solid, undulating sea of white clouds. It is a place of profound silence, isolation, and purity. Monastic orders build their most sacred, secluded temples here, believing that to live on the pale, clouded white is to live on the shore of heaven itself. Peppermint Pig Place, a small, surreal pasture where the grass is a pale, minty green, and the sheep that graze upon it have fleece that is naturally striped pink and white like a candy cane. The air carries a faint, cool scent of peppermint. The peppermint pig is a single magical boar that guards the pasture. It is said that a single bristle from its back can be used to brew a tea that cures all forms of melancholy, replacing sorrow with a feeling of cool, clean, and simple joy. Per character, a being of pure, unrefined magical energy, without thought, form, or intent. It appears as a contained, shimmering ripple in the air, like heat rising from pavement. Per is drawn to places of strong potential, and its presence acts as a powerful but unpredictable catalyst. A seed that Per drifts over might grow into a tree overnight. An artist's unformed idea might blossom into a masterpiece in their mind. However, it is just as likely to cause chaos, as it amplifies potential without any sense of direction or morality. Round Place, the name of a perfectly circular walled city whose inhabitants believe that all of existence is cyclical and that linearity is an illusion. There are no straight roads in Round. Every street is a curving arc or a full circle. Their architecture is dominated by domes, arches, and circular towers. Their philosophy is one of acceptance and return, and they mark time not with a linear calendar, but with a series of interlocking wheels that track the cycles of the moons, the seasons, and the generations. To an outsider, it is a dizzying and confusing place. To its inhabitants, it is a perfect reflection of the true shape of reality. Spooning Good Singing Gum Situation Legend. This is a piece of fey confectionery and a legend among bards. It is a magical chewing gum that, when spooned from a special mother-of-pearl jar, allows the chewer to sing with a voice of impossible beauty and clarity. The singing gum also harmonizes with the singer's emotions, so a sad song will sound heartbreakingly beautiful, and a joyful song will be infectiously uplifting. The effects last for exactly 1 hour, after which the user's voice is returned to normal, often seeming dull and flat by comparison. The Thinner the Air Place, a cursed mountain pass where the air does not simply grow thin with altitude, but is magically and unnaturally leached of its substance. The further one travels into the pass, the more concepts begin to fade. First, colors become muted and washed out. Then sounds lose their resonance and become flat. Deeper still, memories become fragmented. And even one's own sense of identity begins to feel thin and transparent. To cross the pass is to risk arriving on the other side as a blank slate, an echo of a person, a whisper in the wind. Throughout the dark months of April and May, situation legend. This describes a recurring, seasonal curse upon a particular valley. Every year, when the rest of the world is celebrating spring, this valley is plunged into a period of unnatural, magical darkness. The sun is blotted from the sky, the vibrant greens of new life turn a muted, shadowy gray, and a profound melancholy settles upon the land. The inhabitants have adapted, holding festivals of candlelight and telling stories to keep their spirits up. They believe it is a time when the world mourns the loss of the previous year, a necessary sorrow that must be endured before the true summer can arrive. Touch upon touch situation, legend. The name for a form of psychic contagion. It is a condition where a person's own emotional state becomes sticky. When they touch another person, they leave behind a faint, lingering psychic residue of whatever they were feeling at that moment. A touch of their anxiety, a spark of their joy, a shadow of their grief. A person with an advanced case of touch upon touch can unintentionally alter the entire emotional climate of a room just by shaking a few hands, making them a dangerous and unpredictable source of emotional chaos.